It's down to the wire with high stakes, high tension, and of course, high drama. That's Irish poker. Welcome to the final day of the Paddy Power Poker.com Irish Open 2007. Now, over the last 3 days, we have brought you the very best that poker has to offer from world-class international and Irish players. After over 30 hours of play, tens of thousands of poker hands, and well over 4,000 pints of Guinness drunk, we're now down to our final 6 players. But before we join them, if you still haven't got a grasp of how to play Texas Hold'em, here's Jessie May to sort you out.
Texas Hold'em begins with the placing of the button and the posting of the blinds. The button is a white disc that moves around the table. It represents the nominal dealer. The blinds are force bets to get the action going. There are 2 blinds, the big blind double the small. These are placed to the left of the dealer button. Action that first round begins to the left of the big blind, in this case, seat number 4. Play begins with each player being dealt 2 cards face down from the dealer. Players can call, raise, or fold, making their first betting decision solely based on the value of those 2 cards alone. The object being to make the best 5-card poker hand out of 7 eventually available, according to the official ranking of poker hands. At the bottom of the ladder is high card only. Better than that is 1 pair. 2 pairs is higher still, and 3 of a kind is sometimes called a set. A straight is 5 cards in a row of any suits. A flush, 5 cards of the same suit in any order. A full house is 3 of a kind plus a pair. 4 of a kind, self-explanatory. And a straight flush, 5 cards in a row, all of the same suit. Everyone's looking for a royal flush, which is a straight flush, ace high.
When we left you last night, 12 players were battling it out for that all-important place on this, the final table. Now, they played until the wee hours, and after some dramatic action, only 6 players now remain, and this is how they got there.
How did we get from Claire to here? Roland de Wolf was flying last night with 1.5 million, but this was the beginning of his end. The Queens and Glenn McCabe pushed with the ace-jack. Just because you're behind before the flop doesn't mean the bullet can't hit the board. Turn and a river and 3 aces for Glenn McCabe. That was the start of Roland's downhill slide. There was 11 left when Paul Zimbler, the Marbella kid, most of the damage was done by Danny McHugh, but the last of Zimbler's chips in with the ace-7 and the pocket pair for Mitzi held up on a raggedy old flop. Queens up, out.
I made a few bad plays yesterday, got away with it. I went down to 9,000 chips when the blinds were 2,000, 4,000. I made a big laydown. I bounced right back up to 300, got to 600, up and down like a roller coaster. Come down to the last hand and I put it in with the best of it, so he can do.
Perhaps the best poker face in this tournament, Lurgan's Glenn McCabe had been like stone for 3 long days. But the ace on the flop, not good enough to catch up to Mitzi's 2 pairs. And out in 10th, Glenn gets 26,000 euros.
This morning I hit some hands and I progressed from that. And then I made an absolute mess of the last time.
Internet qualifier Finneran knows there's always a young Scandinavian in the form of Peter Eastgate. He was doing great, but his ace-7 got kippered up by the ace-king of Finneran. And Peter Eastgate out in 9th position.
Been up and downs, and just before the final table, I got my aces cracked, and well, after that I didn't recover. So I went out on ace-7.
Paul Dooley perhaps made the move of the tournament, but late last night he moved on Mitzi again. The flush draw. Top pair for Soren Mitzi, and there was 2 cards to come. Humpity Thump Thump and Paul Dooley. What a run he had, but missed and matched.
Biggest tournament I've played so far in my life, so no, I played well now actually for the first good few hours there. Probably pushed a bit too hard there with the 2 hearts, but I didn't think he had the 9, so I thought he couldn't call.
The final 7 came back with the crack of dawn, and Roland de Wolf, who was on 300,000, began his roller coaster ride to the top. I'm in, he says, with the ace-king, and the race was on when the bullet hit the board on the turn. This is how Roland came right back into form. The blinds had gotten very big by the time Finneran found the ace, only to run into a bulldozer behind him. A little help on the flop, but rolling too strong, and this Paddy last qualifier out in 7th.
Well, like I've got 600k, the blinds are 300, 600, like any ace. I have to push, so I push and run into a big hand. I hope to take down the blind. That's the way it goes. I've had a great tournament, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's all to play for, with the winner walking away with €650,000 and the coveted title of Irish Open Champion 2007. The competition is tough, the pressure is mighty, and just one small mistake could cost them dearly. So, how are they feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I've managed to have the chip lead of the tournament throughout most of day 2 and day 3, obviously. I dodged 3 flush draws, so I'm running pretty good as well. I had 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, which is always nice, and I'm ready to play.
Yesterday, at the final table, I haven't seen a card, but I can assure you this. If I can get my hands on chips, they'll know what they're playing against.
I'm fairly relaxed about it. I'm kind of happy with how I've done. Whatever happens, I'll go out first, and I still feel I've done pretty well. A lot of times I could have been out before now. I've made a couple of big moves, as you've probably seen on the TV, and they could have went wrong, and lucky enough to win right.
Day 2 was a struggle. I was never really ahead of the average. Either around between 50 to 75% of the average. Stayed there all day and was able to come back yesterday with 93,000. Now yesterday we come back, I'm not sure how many players is left, but you're in with a chance in the tournament. We're in the money, and well, you're hoping to change gears and get some chips, and thankfully that's the way it went for me.
We just started off, I suppose, a bit in awe of some of the players you see walking around, and sat at the first table, and there was a few professionals at the table. I didn't really know them, and I suppose it wasn't until Pádraig Parkinson comes in to my left, maybe halfway through the first day, that you're thinking you're in a major event, like major players.
Started out badly, went down to 4,000 from the 10,000 starting stack. Recovered and built it to 100,000 at the end of the first day, which was one of the chip leaders. Day 2 struggled all day, but went back down, but came to average. Then day 3